Hello, guys. How are you today? I do hope that everyone is well today. I am having a pleasant day today, and I hope that you are as well. Um, Thanks to everyone that's been joining me the previous weeks that we have been going live on air, and hanging out. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us while, or as we give you guys the lessons, dropping the game and dropping this knowledge on you that we have available to you. And as I always say, guys, we will do great things together. I had an amazing time, you know, uh, that was Monday. I had an amazing time sharing that information with you on Monday concerning Mr. James Brown Jr., James Joe Brown Jr., to be exact. And today's lesson, what we're gonna get right into it, guys. Today's lesson is going to be, what is a falsetto voice? What is a falsetto voice? A falsetto voice is something that I was singing last week in a falsetto voice with the warm up. The warm up that I was doing last week, that's an example of what a falsetto is, aka head voice. So I'm going to give you an example as well, but I'm also going to give you more content and details of what a falsetto voice is. Are you ready? Are you ready? That's what I want to know. Great. Come on, guys. Let's go. Now, a falsetto voice, okay, is the vocal register occupying the frequency range just above the model voice. Register and overlapping with it by approximately 1 octave. So that's another term too to use, octave. An octave. Those are some terms that are used in singing. When you hear the word octave, you know what's required of you. It requires a head voice or a falsetto, meaning ranging upward, you know. So it is produced by the vibration of the ligamentous edges of the vocal cords in whole or in part, commonly cited in the context of singing. Falsetto, a characteristic of phonation by all genders, is also one of four main spoken vocal registers recognized by speech pathology. The term falsetto is most often used in the context of singing to refer to a type of vocal phonation that enables the singer to sing notes beyond the range of the normal or model voice or module voice. The typical tone of falsetto register, or M2, has usually a characteristic breathy and flute-like sound. It's a flute-like sound, relatively free of overtones, which is more limited than its model counterpart in both dynamic variation and tone quality. And this is a reference. However, William Vineyard, Vennard, points out that while most untrained people can sound comparatively breathy or hooty when using falsetto production, there are, in rarer cases, individuals who have developed a much stronger falsetto sound production, which has more ring to it. So it's kind of a falsetto is kind of breathy. It's kind of breathy, and while you're doing it, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to sound breathy, or You don't have to necessarily have so much air. If you can plug in to a direct falsetto, that's great. If your range allows you to sing that high or in that pitch, that's great. That's excellent, guys. Go ahead and do it. But in most cases, I don't know if you're, as an example, I'm going to give you an example. One of my all-time favorite artists, Marvin Gaye. He was definitely a gentleman that oftentimes used the falsetto voice, you know, because that was that was his main approach, because Mr. Marvin Gaye, he was a tenor, so in most cases, or fifth, or as we, as singers would say, a fifth. But that was his main strategy, or that was his main style of singing or music. In most cases, he would sing in a falsetto voice or a head voice. And if you would listen to some of his records, you'll notice the air or the breathiness that he had, or that he performed live, or the breath that he had when he was performing live. You'll notice that he was using a falsetto in most of his recordings, because that was his style. And him being a tenor, he was a first tenor, and speech wise, as he even spoke, you could hear it, you could hear it in his voice. So that was the range that he was most comfortable using, or the pitch that he was most comfortable using. And that's what he ran with. I'm going to give you another one. If you're familiar with the Isley brothers, Ronald Isley, he's a great as well. Mr. Ronald Isley, he's another that also uses a falsetto voice. And I'll say 90% of the records that he's ever recorded, or the Isley brothers as a group, him being the lead singer, in most cases during the course of his career, the falsetto voice was something that he often used, pretty much, like I said, 90% of the time that he recorded. So check him out as well. So you have Marvin Gaye as an example. You have the Isley brothers, Ronald Isley, and then you also have someone like Lenny Williams. If you were to ever listen to Lenny Williams, he's another that also used a falsetto voice. These are just some examples. So you would have more of a broader idea. You'll have a broader idea of exactly what I'm talking about. Um, there's so many people that used it, but the falsetto is, it can be breathy, or it can also have a sharpness to it. You know, it requires much more than singing in your typical everyday voice. It requires much more. you know, and it's a vibration of ligamentous, edges of the vocal cords, in whole or in part. So in whole meaning, if you were naturally, in that vocal range, that's whole. But for someone such as myself, I'd be more of the in part, because that's not, I can sing pretty much any range, rather it's tenor, soprano, but I feel most comfortable in, singing in the range of the first or the second tenor. I could sing alto, soprano, first soprano, you name it. But my range is mainly first and second tenor. That's where I'm most comfortable. So I would say that I'm in part. I'm just that fraction right there, the part. of the whole, of that vibration. I'm just that part of the whole when it comes to that vibration. So what I have to do, there has to be a transformation in my singing that will allow me to go go up and beyond into that range. See? So that's where the air comes in, and it's above my model voice. That's where the air comes in. So you just have to be comfortable in what you're doing. And it requires, like I said, it requires just a little bit more effort than it would in your model voice or your module voice. So with that being said, you know, that's what a falsetto voice is. And if you would like to hear more examples of what a falsetto voice is, what you can do is you can go and check out Marvin Gaye. He's another artist. You can check out the Isley Brothers. That's another. You can also check out Lenny Williams. Lenny Williams, this topic on this subject, that'll be great. Lenny Williams, he was another that oftentimes used the falsetto voice along with Ronald Isley. Ronald Isley was another. And you have various groups that was their style, that was their setting. You have groups like Blue Magic. If you listen to Blue Magic, In the Rain, or I'm not quite sure if that's the exact song, but I Want to Go Outside. If you listen to that song, I Want to Go Outside, you'll see exactly what a falsetto voice is. I want to go outside in the rain. I want to go outside in the rain. Just a brief example. I'm not warm or anything like that, but use those videos, guys, and check it out. Look into it. And, until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. This is going to conclude Singing Lessons for Beginners with Emerald Music Group. I am William Alexander, and this is going to conclude what is a falsetto singing voice, or what is a falsetto singing voice. Exactly. That's what I said the first time, guys, right? So be sure to subscribe to the channel. And, as I say, guys, we'll continue to do great things together, and until next time, I love you, and, peace. I'll see you soon. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.